We're going deep on this week's edition of The Blitz. What's the biggest question mark on this Cowboys roster after the NFL draft? And we are digging into that undrafted rookie class while the Cowboys players are swinging for the fences at the annual Home Run Derby. It's next on The Blitz.
Pops out to the right, breaks a tackle. They blitz it. Prescott throws it down the right side for Lamb. Caught it! Wentz gets rid of it over the middle. It's intercepted. Back to throw. Rush. Sacked by Parsons. Heaves it deep down the left side for Gallup. He's got it. Touchdown!
It's time for another edition of The Blitz inside the Globe Life Studios here at the beautiful Star in Frisco. Bill Jones along with Kyle Youmans, all that build-up leading to up to last week's NFL draft. And now we've opened the presents, and here in the coming days, all those rookies will be arriving here at the Star in Frisco. Now we really get to see what this draft is all about.
What is the draft class for? It's for a look at the future, right? It's for filling holes on your roster and continuing to improve as a football team. You've done that now. Now it's time to get to work, and you hear it on each of those draft day phone calls. Time to get to work, guys. And that's what those rookies are going to have in front of them over these next few weeks.
And one of the highlights of this draft, exclusively behind the scenes, we're able to go inside the Cowboys war room and hear what was said while the Cowboys were on the clock, specifically first round when Mazi Smith was the Cowboys' pick.
No, I'm ready to take the nose card.
I mean, we have them 1 and 2 together.
You got 2 minutes.
We're just getting warmed up.
Will, who would you take?
Personally, I would go with Mazi because I know that he helps us now with the guard. I love the guard too. My question is, you're adding something to it where we have depth. I think the defensive lineman gives you an immediate starter and something for the future.
Here I am cut through if we missed one of those two guys after having them both here in our hands.
And we're better on the line of scrimmage with either one of these guys. We've had offensive linemen there. We've had the opportunity to pick them. We've not had a defensive lineman, interior defensive lineman that high in quite some time.
We're good. Let's keep him on the phone.
Defensive line versus offensive line. And, of course, the pick at number 26 in the first round, Mazi Smith, the big defensive tackle at the University of Michigan. He'll bring a lot right off the bat, this Dallas defense.
Yeah, and there was a lot of conversation on whether or not he would be the right selection at pick number 26. But you're talking about a need that the Cowboys have had for years at a time on that defensive line. You heard Will McClay say it right there. They have not had a defensive tackle as highly rated as Mazi Smith in quite some time. They did go make the midseason trade last year right at the trade deadline to bring in Jonathan Hankins, and that took a team that was allowing 135, 117, 240, 207 rushing yards per game in the 4 games leading into that trade deadline. And then once Jonathan Hankins was added to the table, 73 yards, 90 yards, and then when he was off the board, 4 games left in the regular season against Jacksonville, the Jaguars rushed for 192. So those numbers itself show that having a big, meaty defensive tackle in the interior of this defensive line is a huge prospect to have. But now you've got one that can not only bring the run-stuffing ability with Mazi Smith, but he can bring some pass rush ability as well.
So where does this leave the Cowboys on the offensive line, specifically at left guard with Connor McGovern gone in free agency?
This was the other side of the argument, was do you go and add a true guard? Because last year you had Connor McGovern, but you also slid Tyler Smith inside because that was your best 5 available. Your best 5 right now might include Tyler Smith still at the left guard spot and having Tyron Smith out at left tackle. Because of the injury history behind Tyron Smith, you would expect maybe Tyler Smith to move to the inside or move back out to the outside. And then you've got Josh Ball and company, Chuma Edoga, who they brought in this offseason they feel really good about. For the most part, you're patchworking that left guard spot. You don't have a true starter up front. That's really the risk you have to take by shoring up the defensive side of the ball.
Chuma Edoga from the Atlanta Falcons, they signed in free agency, did start 1 game at left guard for the Falcons last season before being placed on IR with a knee injury. Just getting started on this edition of The Blitz. We've talked a lot about the draft picks. How about the undrafted guys? Cowboys always dig deep into the undrafted class. What did they find this year?
The Dallas Cowboys Blitz, presented by Blockchain.com, is also brought to you by AT&T, official partner of the Dallas Cowboys. and by blockchain.com. Make your crypto play today. This segment is brought to you by AT&T.
All right, we talked a lot about the draft picks, the Cowboys free agent signings. College free agency has been a big player, of course, going back decades with this team. So who off this list will make the 53-man roster or practice squad this year in 2023? We welcome you back here to the Blitz. Bill Jones along with Kyle Youmans. We got some names on that list that we like a little bit, and you know how much Mike McCarthy likes a big fullback type, the running back types in his offenses when he's the play caller. Well, Hunter Lipke has caught our eye out of North Dakota State, a guy who scored 33 touchdowns in his collegiate career.
Yeah, he was a phenomenal weapon for the Bison in their national championship run. And, of course, I mean, he was a 3-time All-American, but he played running back, translating more to maybe an H-back, fullback, tight end role at the NFL level. The thing I like most about Lipke is he runs exceptionally well without the ball in his hands. You can see what he does with the ball in his hands as well, but he takes great angles to set up blocks. You can run behind him, and you can do so confidently. He has crisp routes to get in space to make a catch, keeps that footwork contained whenever he gets moving, does not waste a whole lot of that movement. There are a couple things that he has to work on. The size, personally, I think it needs to see a bit of an uptick whenever you get to the NFL level. You're just facing bigger competition as opposed to what they saw at the FCS level. You have to find a way to bring some yards after the catch factor, too. I really like Hunter Lipke. I think he brings a skill set that could be utilized in this offense, and if it is, you could expect him maybe to sneak on the backside of that 53-man roster.
Listed 6'1", 234 pounds. That's what he measured at the Combine. If he can get up to 245, 250,
awesome.
Could be that prototype fullback in a Mike McCarthy and Brian Schottenheimer offense. How about, just hadn't been that long ago, Terrence Steele came out of the undrafted ranks to start for the Cowboys at right tackle his first year in the league. What about T.J. Bass from Oregon?
Yeah, I really like T.J. Bass. This is a great pickup. Somebody who was a second-team All-American selection last year, and then you also talk about that he was doing that at left tackle, but he was more comfortable at guard. When he was playing guard, he had really phenomenal film. I thought draftable film through the top 5 rounds. Because I was transitioning him to guard, and I think the Cowboys would think about doing the same, I had a 5th-round grade on Bass. So the fact that he was an undrafted free agent, it doesn't surprise me because he did struggle against some of the more athletic edge rushers that he went up against whenever he played those Georgia Bulldogs, but who didn't struggle against Georgia. When he went up against Washington and the Huskies, who brought some speed off the edge, that was where he had trouble, but he's got great length, he's got good size, the footwork is foundationally set, and he knows how to drop an anchor, and whenever he can do that, he's been great at the guard spot. I think he fits in well with that interior offensive line.
Another young guy from Mike Solari to work with on that offensive line. How about on the defensive side of the football? You're always looking for guys who can get to the quarterback, and Isaiah Land from Florida A&M can get to the quarterback.
Man, that was all he did. All he did for the Rattlers. You talk about 89 tackles, 43 of those for loss, and 29 sacks. He lived in the backfield for Florida A&M. Now, here's the thing about Isaiah Land. He has some size and some length. 6'3", 235 pounds. He's got 77-inch arms. He ran a 4.62 as well, which is quick for the edge rusher position. I thought you could maybe put him as an off-ball linebacker, maybe an outside linebacker in a 3-4 scheme and kind of rush him off the edge there. With the multiple scheme that Dan Quinn rolls with, I think he could be a factor in the preseason. He might be my preseason favorite to make some noise off of the defensive end spot. He could be a huge pickup for this Cowboys team and somebody that, again, lived in the backfield. He had a great week at the Senior Bowl down in Mobile, Alabama during the draft process. I expect that to continue in a training camp.
He's your pick on the defensive side to make some preseason noise. I bet your pick on the offensive side to make some preseason noise might be the Cowboys' 6th-round draft pick. That would be one Deuce Vaughn.
I would agree with that.
Yes, and how about we hear from Deuce and his dad, Chris Vaughn, and we break down what Deuce brings to the Cowboys when we come back on The Blitz.
This segment was brought to you by AT&T. This segment is brought to you by Reliant, the official energy provider of the Dallas Cowboys.
Yes, this is one of our favorite segments of the show because this is where we break out the telestrator behind us. Bill Jones with Kyle Youmans. He's about to break down Deuce Vaughn, the Cowboys' 6th-round pick. But let's take you back a couple of months ago. We actually followed the Vaughns, both Deuce and his dad, Chris, at the scouting combine in Indianapolis. What would it have been like if the Cowboys drafted Deuce?
Well, that would be unbelievable, right? That we'd be representing the same organization. That would make it easier for travel. My wife wouldn't have to get split jerseys, which would be great. But I think, a kid that grew up in Texas, having an opportunity to play for the Dallas Cowboys must be unbelievable. But also having, your son play for the organization that you work for is, would be unbelievable.
Well, unfortunately, I probably have to see him every single day, so that would be a negative. But everything else would be pluses. Just to the Dallas Cowboys, whenever you're growing up and you're a kid watching football and you see the Emmitt Smiths, and you see all these players that have the star on the side of their helmet, you just understand what that star is, and you know exactly they call it America's team for a reason. And it would be huge, like you said, to be able to play in Texas as a high schooler and then represent that state as a high schooler, and then unfortunately not get any offers inside of Texas, and to go and play in Kansas State, and it'd be pretty cool to come back and represent Texas again and play with a star on the side of my helmet.
And, of course, that dream became reality on the 3rd day of the draft. So what are the Cowboys getting in Deuce Vaughn? Well, actually, Kyle, they are getting the most prolific running back in this whole draft class. He ran for more yards from scrimmage, caught more passes than any other running back in this draft.
Yeah, he was a phenomenal playmaker. That's what Dallas is getting. This was not a charity pick. This was not one of those that, yes, it was a feel-good story, but there's a reason behind the selection of Deuce Vaughn. I had a mid-day 3 grade on him, and the fact that they got him in the 6th round at pick 212, phenomenal value. You see the production that he put up at Kansas State, led the FBS in rushing yards, all-purpose yards last season. Let's see a couple of the things that he can do for this offense. First off, you're going to see him out of the backfield. There he is, Deuce Vaughn, right there. He's going to just sit back for a minute. Let's just go ahead and clear this and keep going. We've got this right here that he's going to sit back, be very patient, wait for the blocks to develop. And as we go ahead and roll this, as a defender, when you're looking for a running back, you're looking with your eyes. What happens whenever all the eyes converge and you don't know where Deuce Vaughn is? Yes, he's 5'5", but he uses that to his advantage, explodes through the hole, and then he's got phenomenal breakaway speed. This time, he gets caught by behind just because of the speed from Texas Tech. Stayed on that sideline, stayed on his feet, rumbled all the way down inside the 15-yard line, and actually ended up inside the 10. Now, from a passing game standpoint, look at what he can do in terms of opening up the screen game. You see this a lot with Kevontae Turpin. They tried to get the screen game going in 2022. Did not work. Deuce Vaughn is natural whenever it comes to coming, stepping up, waiting for a pass to develop, and then breaking away. Here's the screen that he ran against Kansas. With their back against the wall, they had enough confidence to throw it to Deuce Vaughn, and then boom, when there's a window, he's off to the races and does a great job of just avoiding tacklers, breaking tackles, bouncing off of the physicality, and then he's got that speed to go all the way to the house. One final thing I want you to look at when it comes to Deuce Vaughn is the way that he's able to run routes. This is a very short one. He's off to the side here, and then he breaks out to the sideline. This took a perfect throw. But if you can get him within short yardage situations, 3rd down and short, goal line like you see here, just put him on an out route because the speed itself is going to create separation. It took a great throw from the quarterback, but I have confidence Dak Prescott can make that throw. Overall, Oklahoma State even read that play from the beginning. Deuce Vaughn still made it, and he did that so many times in Manhattan, Kansas with the Wildcats, and I expect him to do the same with the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, he did that against Big 12 schools and also against Alabama in the Sugar Bowl.
Yes,
he went 88 yards for a touchdown against NFL talent. He is a home run hitter as a running back.
You could say that.
Speaking of that, how about a little home run derby action when we come back here on the Blitz in just a moment?
This segment was brought to you by Reliant, the official energy provider of the Dallas Cowboys.
Head to Miller Lighthouse at AT&T Stadium for the Dallas Cowboys Tacos and Tunes Festival presented by Miller Lite on Saturday, May 13th, 2 to 7 p.m. Enjoy a variety of tacos and food truck options while you sip on cold drinks and listen to live music. Admission and parking for the Dallas Cowboys Tacos and Tunes Festival free. Visit attstadium.com/tacos and tunes for more info, and we will see you there. As we welcome you back here to the Blitz, Bill Jones along with Kyle Youmans, an annual rite of spring this past week, the Reliant Home Run Derby. Now, Kyle Youmans was one of the media participants last year, and you won the thing?
Almost.
Oh.
I almost won it. I finished second. That was good enough. I mean, I hit 13 homers, so that was nice. Micah Parsons stole the show last year, even though Leighton Vander Esch won the Derby. Right. I would consider myself a Micah Parsons. I stole the show, but didn't win the Derby.
Well, let's see what happened this year at the Reliant Home Run Derby. Here's Hailey Sutton.
Well, guys, your favorite Dallas Cowboys players traded in their football pads and helmets and instead picked up the bats, all for a good cause. This is the 10th annual Reliant Home Run Derby.
So my game plan this year, I think it was really the same as last year. Just come in, get warmed up in the first round, make some good connection, but not strike out.
It's always fun. As crazy as I was just in that dugout thinking that 8 years ago I was in the outfield shagging as a rookie, and to now just be doing this for as many times as I have, it's a blessing.
Just giving back and just competing. I just really like competing, really. You want to defend your title?
I have to.
Of course I am.
I don't know what happened over the last 4 years. I mean, I can shoot in basketball now. I couldn't shoot, and then I couldn't hit in high school. Now I can hit, so I don't know what's going on.
Oh, not good. As expected, though. The most baseball experience that I have was on nice days in PE class.
Yeah, no doubt, absolutely. Anytime you're doing something for a good cause, you're probably gonna have fun with it. Yeah. I did all right first round, but we're gonna come back good second round.
Terrible performance, absolutely terrible. That pitcher, I ain't gonna lie, I don't like to make excuses, but that pitcher's terrible. He's terrible. He's throwing curve balls, sinkers. I ain't got time for it. I want the 95 miles an hour like that minute, but I ain't get that.
No, it's a great event, and see some of the guys that get so into it, the Micahs and Leighton. Leighton talking some smack. He won it last year, and Dak will be in the mix, so it's a fun event.
I feel like it's everybody against Micah at this point. His mouth, he's the only one trying to bet and make it more than raising money for charity. So at this point, I think everybody's we want him to go out there and keep having duds like that for his round.
I mean, he hypes himself up a lot, so everybody just naturally wants to beat him.
Yeah, the bat's here, but I think I'm gonna go get me a custom joint next year. So that way, it don't matter how he's throwing it, I'm just hitting him.
The last 2 rounds is when it really counts, so making every swing, making every pitch count, and just slowing down and taking the good ones.
So Leighton Vander Esch, your back-to-back Reliant Home Run Derby champion. But guys, really everyone was a winner here. $86,500 raised for the Salvation Army, in addition to all of the money that was given to various charities for the players. So really everyone was a winner here at Writers Field. I'm Hailey Sutton for the Dallas Cowboys. I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Lots of fun at the Home Run Derby. Okay, fill us in. How far do you have to hit a ball to be counted as a home run?
So they do have a temporary fence for the players out there. It's 200 feet away from home plate. So it's not necessarily a big-time bomb, but it's still enough to get enough of it.
And
right?
Good enough for Leighton Vander Esch to win it for the second straight year. All right, when we come back, it's jersey number time. DeMarvion Overshown was number 0 at Texas. Not in the NFL. What number will he be next?
The Dallas Cowboys Blitz, presented by Blockchain.com, was also brought to you by AT&T, official partner of the Dallas Cowboys, and by Blockchain.com. Make your crypto play today.
The New Jersey numbers are in. The New Jersey numbers are in. We already knew Mozzie was going to be number 58, and Schoonmaker, like in college at Michigan, 86. DeMarvion Overshown, third-round pick, was number 0 at Texas, not here. You can wear 0, but J-Ron's got that, so it's Overshown's wearing number 35. Which of those numbers you like the best of, Kyle?
Honestly, I think I like Deuce Vaughn wearing number 42. I think the 4 Deuce for Deuce Vaughn works out well. And yes, it's not number 22, but you weren't going to wear 22 here. Sorry, Deuce. It's just not going to happen.
42 seems like too big a number for Deuce.
You would think so, but think of some of the smaller backs that have had success in the NFL. The most notable one, probably Darren Sproles out of Kansas State. He wore number 43, so 42 is close enough.
All right, it works for me. All right, that does it for the Blitz. For Kyle, I'm Bill, and we will see you again next week.